the attackman now, defending.
I think it's like
Arsenal can take Cancelo away from Barcelona. Another day, another bit of transfer news, people. Nothing else to do with the season drawing to a close, unless you're in a cup final where a couple of teams are concerned. In relation to Joao Cancelo, who spent a period on loan at Bayern Munich and obviously has historically been at Man City, Arsenal have been linked with him again. Apparently, the London club are willing to pay a transfer for. The Google Translate hasn't helped us, but it says Portuguese side, but I think they mean for the Portuguese man, which is Cancelo. The player wants to define his future soon, and Barca can only incorporate him on loan. So there have to be some creative accounting with Cancelo, with maybe actually bringing Messi back to the club. You've seen him, apparently he'll go to Inter Miami on loan and then be loaned from there to Barcelona. But for what it's worth, focusing on the fullback of Manchester City, contracted. Arsenal could be the destination of Joao Cancelo, apologies. I must say Capello, still thinking it's 06. Next season, despite the fact that Barca is very attentive to the situation of the Portuguese player to reinforce its right back. The London club, according to various British media, has contacted the footballer's entourage and Manchester City to negotiate a transfer. Cancelo, who does not have a good relationship with Guardiola, will leave City and they'll prioritize a sale, while Barca could only be after a loan, which that could be Real Madrid, that could be Bayern Munich again, that could be Barcelona. Now, Barcelona have been linked with a number of players. I still reckon he ends up in Spain, but on the footballing front, who wouldn't want Cancelo? Can play left back, can play right back, experience, one of the best in his position in the world on his day. He does struggle at defending, really, but I'm having him really and truly, especially if Arteta wants it. I'm very pessimistic on it, but you never know. Cancelo's agent, George Mendes, is convinced that he could reach an agreement for him to go to Barcelona, but he's going to listen to offers, and Arsenal's proposal could interest him. So is Barcelona the priority then? I'm not sure. Barca has Cancelo on its list as an option for a right back as long as he comes on loan and the footballer lowers his salary. The Portuguese was willing to do so only to play at Barcelona and reside in Spain, but the interruption of Arsenal could make him change his mind. In any case, Barca also keeps the door open for Pavard, a footballer who has already told Bayern he wants to leave, and they've also been linked with Joshua Kimmich. Why Manchester City rejected Barcelona interest is Joao Cancelo, people. Barcelona couldn't cover his wages, but you never know. If he bends his demands where wages are concerned, maybe he could be reintroduced. You can't rule out him having a future at Manchester City, even though we clearly know it's bleak. He's contracted until 2027 really as well, so it does mean it's probably a bit harder to price him away from the club, but the man wants to leave. The manager doesn't want him. They'll sell to wherever. Who knows? Matter of time before PSG get involved in that, people. What Xavi didn't explain is why City changed their mind. Sources at the club indicated that while Barcelona wanted the player, they were not prepared to cover all the finances involved for the second half of the season. Bayern Munich were, and so City dealt with the Bundesliga champions instead. City have a decision to make on Cancelo this summer. The fullback is under contract until 2027, but with his chances of being reintegrated into Pep Guardiola's squad looking slim after a level of fallout with the manager, they'll have to see if a fee can be agreed with an interested club. Barcelona are interested. Bayern Munich had a buy option. They've chosen not to take it. Again, but Xavi's quoted as saying, "We wanted Cancelo in January. They offered him to us and we accepted. In the end, they told us City didn't want to give him up to Barcelona, so it might not be fair." On Declan Rice, he's a target for Chelsea, but Arsenal are the favourites to sign Declan Rice. Chelsea's alternatives for Rice include Ugarte of Sporting Lisbon, Caicedo, who's also linked with Arsenal, and Mr. Lavia, who is at Southampton, at least until he moves. Apparently, Mikel Arteta and Edu have been working together on transfer plans ahead of this summer's window, and they've received backing from the club's owners, KSE. Co-chairs Josh Kroenke has been over in England in the past month. So let's see what that does. Arsenal have no intention of letting Smith Rowe leave the club this summer. The player has a contract until 2026 and remains an important part of Mikel Arteta's plans. Halem boys Zach Away and Charlie Patino are set to leave Arsenal, says Mr. Mike McGrath, the Daily Telegraph. Arsenal have not yet sanctioned the exit of Xhaka as they want a top-class replacement first. Rice, Caicedo and Gundogan are on the list. So I like that. You know, you can't really afford to let Xhaka go unless you have assurances that somebody is going to come in. I'm very pessimistic on Gundogan. For Caicedo and Rice, it comes down to putting the money on the table. And I'm trying not to get too excited because we've seen this before, people. You know, we're the favourites for the guy. He's going to sign and then they go elsewhere. Anything can happen. You know, what the media report and what is actually happening in the footballing world could be two different things. Until people are holding scarves and shirts saying they love the club, they always wanted to play up for Arsenal and they used to watch Thierry Henry growing up. Anything is up for debate, really and truly. Arsenal allegedly have been shocked by William Saliba's wage demands. Now, I've covered this in a previous video, but hopefully we get over the line, people. But apparently we're willing to treble his 40 grand a week wages. Apparently, Arsenal have been reportedly shocked by the demands from his reps, which are claimed to be nowhere near the 120 grand a week offer on table. So we'll have to see. Again, journalists are being a bit creative. We all know we're getting a bit of itchy feet, you know, and stuff like that. He's 22. He's got a year left on his deal. He's key part of our team. Clubs from abroad are going to be circling. So it is one to monitor closely. Now, without knowing how close or how far a deal is, Arsenal have to consider the possibility of selling him if he's going to, you know, run down this deal. We can't afford that to be the case. For me, give the man what he wants. Obviously not exactly what he wants, but he should be paid a handsome wages, one that makes him near enough one of the top earners at the club. Assuming we get him tied down for a 4 or 5 year deal, and him, not just him, but several players that have signed new deals will be in line to get improvements on their deals. You'd imagine you want to tie him to a 3 to a 4 to a 5 year contract. And I won't quite say he'll be where Saka is, but you'd imagine where Martinelli is and whatnot in terms of the wage bracket. You'd imagine he'd be there. Now, as you know, the incoming players, the Caicedos, the Declan Rices, allegedly of this world, they are not going to be cheap, people. So we're going to have to be a bit cute and clever. We're going to have to pay players what they demanded. We're going to have to obviously bring in players of big money, and where the Cedrics and Pepes of this world are concerned, we're going to have to get rid of them. Again, if you can tie him down for the best part of his 20s, that would be great. Again, all of these players, in the meantime of signing that deal, they will probably sign extended or improved terms before the duration of that contract is finished. What I always say, if you was to go and buy, whether you believe Martinelli, Saka, Saliba are worth the wages they're getting, how much would it cost off the basis of what Saka has done since he's been exposed to the first team? Definitely in the last 2 years, where he's played at a Euros and a World Cup, and well, you get what I mean. And obviously got double figures. How much would that cost if we wanted to buy that right winger and he's at another Premier League team? How much is that going to cost? The same goes for the Saliba. The same goes for Martinelli. Paying people, retaining players, improving players are as important, and anything on the training ground for that matter are as important as new signings. So give the man what he wants, people. Again, apparently Joao Felix has been told by new Chelsea manager Pochettino it is a myth, people. Really costly, costly loan, £15 million, nothing really to show for it. I wonder if Arsenal will go back in for him. As you know, we allegedly, along with Man United, wanted him in January, but we balked at the demands. And as much as I like him, and for me, he's an exception to the rule because he's a quality player. Unfortunately, 4 goals and no assists in 20 games isn't the best. Not that any Chelsea player really thrives, so you have to give him that tax. What does Joao Felix solve at this football club? And I'm not belittling his talent. Very good player, strong dribbler, could score goals. At this moment in time, we're a better attacking team than Chelsea. So naturally, he would be a part of that, can play all across the front 4. But what specific area does he address? You know, he can play left wing. Is that necessarily what we need? Now, being in the Champions League, I'm having it, but is that necessarily what we need? He can play on the right. Is that necessarily his best position? He can play as a false 9. If we were to bring in another striker, do we need another guy that can play everywhere like Trossard or Martinelli, or do we probably need someone that fits the role on paper? For me, a more physical target man-esque sort of number 9. I just wonder if Arsenal will go back in for it, or even Man United, which he'd be a quality player for Man United, but similar to them, assuming they don't sign an out-and-out number 9. What does he solve, essentially? Apparently, the Atletico president has confirmed the Blues will not be taking up the opportunity to sign him and that he'll return to the capital. Now, as we saw with Odegaard, it is difficult to join a club in January for people and thrive, and especially Chelsea, where they can't defend. So you can't be surprised any defender is struggling, and they can't attack at this moment in time. So there's no surprise why that's happening. Apparently, the president of Atletico said yesterday we had news that the new Chelsea manager Pochettino does not want Joao Felix. We've known for less than 24 hours he'll come back here, and we'll see. We don't have anything planned. And then obviously Felix said he wanted to stay. Really, he said, I don't know yet about my future, but these 4 or 5 months I've loved it. It's a top club. Everyone in the club was very good to me. My teammates unbelievable. I really like to be here. So I have to say, and I'm sure he likes the London aspect as well. He is contracted until 2027, people. He was given improved terms before he went out on loan. So we'll have to see. Maybe he goes back and enjoys himself in Spain. We'll have to see. Apparently, you know, his tally for goals and assists isn't the greatest. That tally is similar to his totals in the 3 previous seasons at Atletico, 9, 10, and 10. But it's still a huge disappointing return for someone of such obvious talent and given his huge price tag. I'm sure he's improved a lot at Atletico and under Simeone, but an attacking player in an ultra defensive historical system, you're never going to thrive like that, really and truly. They should have had a buy option. I don't know why. Maybe Poch doesn't feel he's worth the money. Maybe he's not keen on his ability. Maybe he doesn't feel he fits whatever system he's looking to do. But Felix is a great player, and he'd be more than welcome, in my opinion, at the Emirates. Pardon me if it was that. Looking at some other news, apparently Romano has played down pursuits that Ivan Fresnador is going to move to either Dortmund or Arsenal imminently. Arsenal appreciate Ivan Fresnador since January, but told they have not sent any official proposal. No concrete negotiations at this stage. Race remains open with Dortmund interested. This article has said, you know, yesterday we tabled a lucrative offer for the Real Valladolid defender, people. We'll have to see where the 18-year-old's future lies. We've spoken on Smith Rowe. Paris Saint-Germain are not only looking at Saliba, but also Odegaard. Alexis Sanchez has been linked with a Premier League return and a Premier League return to Arsenal. PSG are ahead of Arsenal in this pursuit of Vlahovic, who's also linked with Dortmund. Apologies, not Dortmund, Bayern Munich. Milinkovic-Savic allegedly is available for 126 million euros. Arsenal have been offered the chance to sign out of favour Barcelona man Ansu Fati. We're eyeing a move for Elise of Crystal Palace. We're set to win the race for Declan Rice, and we're not really going to know anything on Declan Rice until the aftermath of the Conference League Cup final that West Ham are still in, people. Sasha Boy bid rejected allegedly. Nelson's apparently signed a new deal. We've been linked with Conde and Rabiot, the French internationals. Bayern Munich have also been linked with Declan Rice. We've been linked with Szoboszlai and Dani Olmo. So we'll have to see how these things progress, people. So let me know your thoughts on everything we've discussed. Check out the rest of the videos. Make sure you're liking, commenting, and subscribing. Stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll see you lot again soon.
Always is that active defending. I think it's like